everyone to stage 3 of UbD Learning by Design. And in this stage, we will go into plan learning experiences. So what this basically is, stage 3 would be, is, uh, um, is making sure that what we teach and how we teach it follows logically and aligns with stage 1 and stage 2 goals, which we have already implemented in the previous 2 videos. So basically this is what we're going to start plugging in all that information that's going to help us build our lesson plan. Okay, this is like a learning events that are designed to address 3 iterated goals: acquisition, meaning making, and transfer. Okay, so make sure that you're refer back to your stage 1 and stage 2 to help you understand, what the requirements are, what students require to be given numerous opportunities to draw interference and make generalization for themselves. Okay, with support of the teacher, of course. And just make sure that you understand that you have to simply, simplify things a little bit so that it's in a way that students can understand it. Okay, so the first part of stage 3 is plan learning experiences. This is the where to learning plan. Okay, in this section, this is what teachers will be equipping their students to engage and develop, but also demonstrate the desired understanding. This is the part where you will help the students know where the unit is going and what to expect at the end of the unit, as well as where the students are coming from as far as knowledge. So you will start off with your SMART learning objectives. These learning objectives should be specific, measurable, attainable, result focused, and time focused. Now you might have one SMART learning objective, or you have a multiple learning objectives, and that's where you will implement them here in this section. The next part would be relevance. What is the benefit of students completing this unit? How will they benefit from this material? Like, are they going to be able to take this, what they have learned, and build a career out of it, or build a hobby out of it? Or how exactly will that student benefit from your unit? This is where you will have to put the different types of benefits that you feel apply to each individual student. So you will add those in this section here. The next part will be diagnosis. How we know what they know before the lesson and what they know after the lesson. Now this can be tests, it can be projects, it can be questionnaires, maybe reflection papers. This basically could be up to you how you plan on making sure that you diagnose those knowledge of where your students are currently at. The hook and hold is the next section. These are questions of how you will plan on hooking your student and keep interest and maintain that interest. It could be, maybe it's not a question, maybe it's at the beginning of your class session. You might start off with a story, something that builds interest right from the beginning, so that basically you have their full attention right from the get-go. Here you will, in this part here, you will indicate how you plan on doing that. And again, no idea, it's a bad idea. It's how you execute that idea that's going to make it effective. Okay. Next will be technology. What types of technology will you be able to implement to the unit that's going to help students continue to be engaged, that's going to hold their interest, and that's going to continue to build? And also, because it's technology, maybe it's going to help build a different type of skill, maybe a skill they didn't even have. So here you will indicate what types of technology you will be implementing to be able to get their interest and get them hooked. Okay. The next part would be experience and explore. How will students uncover the meaning of the unit? How exactly will they be able to understand, help them with the experience, the key ideas, and explore issues that will go beyond the classroom. For the next section, rethink, revise, and refine. Basically, what this section is about is you will help students have the opportunity to think, revise what they have done, refine their work, and be able to give it to you back to kind of help them build their knowledge. And this is basically kind of like getting feedback. You giving them the opportunity to rethink things. Maybe when they completed this certain type part of the unit, they were thinking about something, but after they had already submitted it, they probably thought about something else that could uh, help them to inform you that what they have learned has stuck in their brain. So this is a part where you have to indicate how exactly do you plan on helping students rethink, revise their work, and then fine tune it. For the next section, reflect and self-regulate. In this section, you will indicate how students have the time to improve their metacognition and self-regulation skills. Now, here you will just type them in these little boxes and make sure they align perfectly. And keep in mind also of that ultimate big idea that we have established, well, that you have established from the beginning, to make sure it aligns up perfectly. Formative feedback. In this section, you will put how will students get formative feedback from you, whether it's a type of a brief summary of your thoughts about their project, and how do you plan on making sure that students improve their work based on that feedback. Here you will put, it could be one maybe type of format, or it could be multiple types of formats, all of which you feel will help the students. You will have to jot down in these boxes. The next section will be tailored to differentiate learning. How will this unit be organized for making sure that you're taking an account for every student out there, whether they have some sort of disability. How do you plan to make sure that what you're teaching is also going to be tailored to that student? If you have students that maybe are colorblind, if how do you plan on making sure that it doesn't affect them, but still gather the big idea that you have developed? You will put that in this section. The next section will be organized towards learner-centered strategies. Now, throughout the book, you will understand what is learner-centered versus teacher-centered. And in this section, you will indicate how exactly you plan on strategizing your unit to be more of the tailored to the learner, and making it sure that the learner actually is engaged with your content. How is that going to work, and how do you plan on making sure that you are thinking about the student first? You will indicate that in this section, and make sure that it's very very unique, very creative, and most of all, very helpful for the learner. And the next section will be organized to be authentic. How will you be organized to make sure that your students are engaged and local? Basically with technology, research real world professional problems, collaborate with others. Are they going to produce products that are meaningful and useful to the audience. Now, how will this unit be organized to be authentic? You will indicate that in this section here. Organized to creativity, high order skill, and mental habit of mind. Now, this section, you will indicate how your unit will be organized to have technology, enhanced learning experiences that will, help the student develop a higher creativity and a way of thinking and process that will, help them in the long run to be more critical thinkers. You will indicate that in this section here. And then the next part will be organized to assess student learning. How will your unit be organized to continually assess students, meaning that you are constantly keeping track of how they're learning, what they're not learning, to make sure that you are giving them feedback to make sure that they are on track, that they're not just going to your class and taking this unit, and if they don't feel like they're moving along, they may lose interest. So just indicate that here on the organized to assess student learning. Next is organized to use technology to analyze data. Okay, so how will your unit be organized to use technology tools and resources to collect data, analyze it based on their achievements, interpretation results? How do you plan on using technology to assess each individual student? And that concludes stage 3. And I hope that this UbD workshop has helped you understand how to use the UbD template to start organizing every course unit that you may have, or any type of training that you are planning on doing with a corporation. And I hope that you not just use it once, but always continue to refresh it, to give it a more improvement as you go along. You keep building upon and make it even better to help you be a more successful instructor.